All right, today we're going to continue on with our lesson on unit rates. And here we have a table showing the cost of some fruits purchased at a farm stand. And we want to have a question that says which fruit costs the most per pound. So first thing we're going to want to do is figure out what the cost per pound is for each of those fruits. So our first fruit is the mango. And we see that we paid $2.60 for the mango. And since we bought 2 pounds worth of mangoes, we're going to take that $2.60 and we would divide it by 2 to figure out our cost per pound. And so our cost per pound would be $1.30. Next we have pears. And for the pears, we paid $3.50 and we bought 2.5 pounds of pears. So to find the cost per pound, we're going to do the same thing we did for the mangoes, cost divided by weight. I'm going to do that work off to the side here because that is not something that I can do very quickly mentally. And I'm going to kind of fast forward a little bit. I'm going to move my decimal points. I only need to move the decimal point once because 2.50, you can drop the 0 like I did down below. So 25 goes into 35 once, get 10, decimal point up, 0 down, and 25 goes into 100 4 times. And then bring the 4 up, and so the pears are $1.40 per pound. And then we look at the oranges. And for the oranges, we're paying $2.70. And we're buying 2.25 pounds of oranges. So once again, we're going to need to do some work off to the side. So I'm going to come over here. I went ahead and moved my decimal points. Excuse me again. 225 goes into 270 once. We get 45, decimal point up, 0 down. 225 goes into 450 twice. Bring that 0 up. And we find that we paid $1.20 per pound for the oranges. So which fruit costs the most per pound? It is the pear at $1.40 a pound. Here we have some other food items. We have potatoes, carrots, and onions. And we're trying to figure out which type of food costs the most per pound. So we're going to do work very similar to what we did earlier. I'm going to scroll this up a little bit. So we have potatoes, $4. We bought 5 pounds. So that gives a cost of 80 cents. Carrots, $3. We bought 5 pounds. So that would be 60 cents a pound. And we should be able to tell that the potatoes cost more per pound because we buy an equal number of potatoes as carrots, and we pay more for 5 pounds of potatoes than we pay for 5 pounds of carrots. And then finally, we have the onions, $2.50. We bought 2 pounds. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 50 divided by 2 is 25. So we pay $1.25 per pound for onions. So the type of food that costs the most per pound are the onions. Excuse me. And finally, the last part of the lesson is a rate that many of us will be concerned with as we get older, and that is speed. And so our speed formula is up here in the upper right-hand corner. Speed equals distance divided by time. So if we know that Gavin rode 40 miles and it took him 1 hour, it would take 40 divided by 1 to get a speed of 40 miles per hour. Gavin drove 50 miles. That's his distance. His time was 1 hour. 50 divided by 1 would be 50 miles per hour. So a car traveled a distance of 120 miles in 2 hours. We want to find the speed. Well, we know that speed equals distance divided by time. Well, our distance here is 120 miles. Our time is 2 hours. 120 divided by 2 is 60, and that would be 60 miles per hour. We have Joyce climbing up a steep trail. She climbs 3/4 of a mile in half an hour. We want to find her climbing speed. So speed equals distance divided by time. That's just another way to write it. Excuse me. Her distance is 3/4 of a mile. Her time is half an hour. And so we need to, again, go back into the toolbox and remember our steps for dividing by a fraction here. And there are 3 little words. Keep, which means keep the first fraction the same. Times, which means convert division to multiplication. And turn, which means to use the reciprocal of the second fraction. And we can simplify the 2 and the 4. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2, which would give us a speed of 1.5 miles per hour. And it's important to note that speed is not always going to be miles per hour, so make sure you're aware of what your labels are. And so for our final ones here today, we have a truck travel distance of 280 kilometers in 4 hours. So again, speed equals distance divided by time. Our distance was 280 kilometers. Our time was 4 hours. 280 divided by 4 would be 70 kilometers per hour. So we're going to switch it from an MPH to a KPH. And then finally, a car travels 1/4 of a kilometer in half a minute. Find the speed of the car. Speed equals distance divided by time. 1/4 divided by 1/2. Once again, we're dividing by a fraction. Keep times turn. Now you don't have to simplify at this point. You can wait till the end. 2 times 1 is 2. 4 times 1 is 4. 2/4 simplifies to 1/2 as 1/2 kilometers per minute. And that's all for today's lesson. As always, I hope this helps.